In June of 2016, my wife and I were on a ministry trip up in Alaska. We had one of those really special nights where the glory of God fell. There were so many healings. People were being delivered and set free. Salvations. It was beautiful. It was, in every sense of the word, a night of revival. I remember I began to cry, and April, my wife, came and she sat next to me and she said, "Why are you crying?" And I knew in that moment why I was crying. I was crying specifically because my heart longed to see this outpouring of God's Spirit, this touch of heaven on earth in my home city, St. Louis. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was the inception of God's dream being placed in my heart. We stumbled upon something that was in His heart for the city of St. Louis. Over the next year, from June 2016 to June 2017, God took us on this prophetic journey where He began to show us the potential of what an urban church could look like with this mandate and this mission to see the city itself influenced by heaven. I didn't have language at the time, but I soon discovered what He was showing us is something that I'd call cultural transformation. God began to put this thing in me that a church isn't to just exist for the gathering, but it's to exist for the sending. And so we began to grab hold of this dream in the Father's heart to see an apostolic church built with the mandate of cultural transformation. And from there, we knew that our purpose wasn't just revival services or to build a large church, but our purpose was to see every believer really discover who they are, find their identity, discover their identity so they can live with purpose. And then God gave us three specific aspects of our vision to help us stay on track and be the culture that He's called us to be. The first one is that His presence is our priority, that above every other thing, He is the very centerpiece that we gather around. He's the one we behold. He's the one that we set our gaze upon. His presence is our priority. The second aspect of the vision that God gave us is that people are our passion. Jesus has this unbelievable ability that in a crowd of thousands, in the multitudes and in the masses, He could still see the one. We love people because God loves people. People are our passion. The third aspect of the vision God gave us is that cities and nations, they're our responsibility. That we're not supposed to be removed or secluded or be passive about what's going on, but just like a little bit of leaven being inserted into dough, God has said, listen, I want to insert you guys into St. Louis, into cities and into nations. And so we look at the problems of our city and we say, those are our problems. Cities and nations, they're our responsibility. And so this is who God has called us to be. A place built around His presence where people are our passion, cities and nations are our responsibility. A place that helps people discover their identity so they can live with purpose. A place where people can taste and see that the Lord is good. It's a place where heaven's influence is seen here in the earth. And I would love to invite you to actually come and check out what God is doing here at Kingdom Church.